Texas Tech's Center for Pulsed Power and Power Electronics was the first of its kind among American universities.
Back in the early 70s, Dr. Chris Christensen was conducting fusion research, which was very popular at the time, and he saw the need for developing the science of pulse power, which could lead to fusion. And there were no pulse power labs in this country at that time, so he started here. He hosted the first 2 international pulse power conferences in Lubbock, and he just did very well with growing the research program from the old Star Wars program back in the 80s to some of the first multi-university research initiative programs in the late 90s. He's retired now, but he's still here, and we're just continuing on with what he started.
Inside the lab, researchers are experimenting with new ways to help our troops on the battlefield.
So it's an everyday use, but we primarily are involved in national labs, Department of Defense on large-scale applications. Over the past decade, we've had research initiatives into using pulse power for counter-improvised explosive devices, IEDs. We have a program with Office of Naval Research on that right now. Being on the cutting edge of electronic warfare is very important for this country, along with other industrial applications.
The center is one of the few university laboratories where students can be educated in the pulse power field.
Well, it's important because students have to realize that science and math is just so critically important for their future, whether they want to be scientists or mathematicians. You know, it's in everyday life, and as our technology advances, it's just become more and more involved with what you do. Also, it's important for this country to stay on the cutting edge, leading edge of science and math in the world, and we have to stay ahead.
Many of its graduates go on to work in national laboratories and for defense contractors.
All of our graduate students are supported, so they'll have tuition and monthly stipend. They will attend international conferences. They will meet with some of the world leaders in our field at these conferences, and here at the lab as the other scientists come to visit. And if they're interested in working in a national lab, pulse power is in many of the national labs, from Oak Ridge to Sandia to Lawrence Livermore to Los Alamos. Or even if they're interested in working in medical industry for a defense contractor, there's many opportunities for someone who has expertise in pulse power.
In Lubbock, Kristen Keith, Big 12 Digital Network.